Let me go on to our second documentary feature film, and this was with our good friend IDO Portal. We called it Just Move. And again, this was a real step up for us, and it was a lot of trust that IDO Portal had in us. And IDO is notoriously very private, and he doesn't like to have a lot of people filming, especially in his classrooms, in his workshops, which are amazing, by the way. But he allowed us in there because we had built up a relationship with him, having him on London Reel. And again, I still to this day am appreciative of IDO allowing us into his 2-day workshop here in London and allowing us to fly to Tel Aviv in Israel. First time I went to Israel and spent 5 or 6 days at the studio there in Israel, which is actually owned by Roy Goldschmidt there in Tel Aviv, who's an amazing mover. He's that big gargantuan looking guy on Instagram who can do pretty much anything with his body. And he's the brother of Odelia Goldschmidt, who is IDO's right-hand woman. And Odelia is an amazing person, an amazing mover, and an amazing spirit. We really love Odelia around here. And they allowed us to come into the studio. Again, I'd never been to Tel Aviv or Israel before, so for us it was this crazy adventure. We flew over there. We had no plans. We just thought we would shoot things and try to learn. We went to Jerusalem, and I went to the Wailing Wall, and we filmed on the Wailing Wall with our cameras, and it was really stressful. And I wore a yarmulke on my head because that's what you do out of respect. And somebody had got stabbed earlier at one of the entrances because there's a lot of tension there because of the West Bank. And it was just crazy. And trying to figure out how to film, and then IDO was busy, and then he wasn't busy, and it was just crazy. And that's why whenever I go do these things, Mariana's like, why don't you call me on these trips? And I'm like, babe, you have no idea. It's like, going into battle. Every hour of every day is taken up. It's stressed. When you're back at home, you're backing up cards, you're planning, you're trying to get some sleep. And it's just madness. And we made this movie called Just Move and premiered this actually just about 5 months after our Dorian film, which was crazy. And IDO came with his entire family. His mom came, his dad came. We did this massive premiere at the Ham Yard Hotel in London, and we did IDO Portal. Here's a quick feel for what it's like, and here's the trailer of Just Move.
Happiness is not a good orientation. Fearlessness is a much more powerful thing. Where fear resides, this is where the gold is. X marks the spot.
And so that's just a little taste of what we did with IDO. Again, this movie changed my life. IDO Portal changed my life. I mean, I started moving differently. I stopped lifting weights for the most part, and I started doing lizard walks and break dancing and hand balancing and swimming, and my whole regime has changed, but actually I'm in almost better physical shape than I used to be when I was just not really moving my body and just doing old school things. And so it's a really powerful film, and I know it'll change your life. And it was a big evolution for us. We tried to step everything up. We stepped our camera game up. We stepped our color grade up. We got a professional sound person at the end. We just did everything a little bit better that time. So look, I want to go back to your comments. There's some great ones here. I'm asking you, if you're coming late here, what is the documentary film you would like to make? What's the story you would like to tell? And what's the single biggest challenge stopping you from doing that? Is it technology? Is it funding? Or is it just your head? Is it your own fear? There's a lot of fear out there. People don't want to be judged. When you put a film out there, you get a lot of criticism, you make a lot of mistakes, but that's the only way to grow. And that's the story of London Reel. That's what we teach in our academies, and that's what we try to preach here on the show. So some great commentaries here. Dan Jacobson says he wants to make a documentary on how to fight your daily demons. I love it. Make it. It can be 15 minutes. You can really tell us that story. Carolyn Williams says a documentary about the rise of why more and more young men are feeling so hopeless and desperate and then commit suicide. Yes, please tell that story. We need to talk about that and why. Really important. Andrew wants to do a documentary on Iraq and Afghanistan war vets and how we're dealing with post-war. I love that, Andrew. Do it. Just get out there, start doing some interviews with your phone and put it together. You can put together a really low-budget concept of your doc in 3 days, but most people that get into perfectionist paralysis and they use it as a mechanism for procrastination, and then they never do it. You can literally get a doc out there and up on YouTube in days as a concept. And then from there, if you want to perfect it or get funding or spend more time, you can. just do it. You got to pull the trigger on these things. Handball says, that's good to know. You don't need money to tell a story. You don't. And Jacobson said as well, why psychedelics have a bad stigma and how does it help to fight depression? That's a great topic as well. So really good stuff.
At London Real, we believe that individual transformation can change the world. Join us and start your journey today.